Hi. Let's talk about the Eternals.
Musical styles are still a very important form of communication for our young people. Hi, I'm Joe Feinstein.
It's an understatement to say that this film was released to a conflicted audience. Many people seem to enjoy it from its humor and its cinematography and all the fun jokes in between. However, a great many more seem to widely pan it, calling it the worst of the MCU offering since Thor: The Dark World. And even to the eye of a non-MCU fan, when you see videos like this, or like this, or like this on your recommended videos list, it can further dissuade people from giving it an honest assessment. And I think that's a damn shame. Because this film did what a lot of people were asking for in the MCU, and it did it in a concise, respectful manner. Let me put it to you another way. For 13 years, the MCU was focused on muscled white guys with fantastic abilities and great hair, and it took this installment in the series to bring us a story about a truly large, multifaceted, dysfunctional family, not only having to band together to save the planet, but who have to confront their traumas and issues with each other to save themselves. Maybe I should back up. The Eternals came out in 2021, written and directed by Chloe Zhao, who previously helmed Nomadland. This is a fantastic ensemble cast, and if you had to argue a main character, it would definitely be Cersei, played by Gemma Chan. But we also get a lot of solid time with the rest of the team, which comprises of Brian Tyree Henry, Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden, Selma Hayek, Kumail Nanjiani, Leah McHugh, Ma Dong-seok, Lauren Ridloff, and Barry Keoghan. Someone who I think deserves a special mention here is the composer, Ramin Djawadi. He has done some truly incredible work, and his portfolio is the stuff of legends. He scored Game of Thrones, the Gears of War series, Thundercats, Pacific Rim, Warcraft, but most relevant to the MCU, he also did the first Iron Man film. And with this level of experience and the scale this movie was shooting for, he absolutely nailed it. The somber tones, the swelling scores, the foreboding strings, he brings it all, and I really have to commend him for it. Now, I'm going to touch upon the main plot in a bit, but to me, the main plot isn't as interesting as everything else we're given to sit with throughout the film. It's the interactions between the characters and their downtime in between fights. A team this big, it takes time to get a good feel for everyone, hence why this film is so long. And that's something that baffles me about what MCU fans complained about. Throughout Phase 2 and 3, there were so many calls for the films to be longer and to give us more time with the characters, and not just 2 hours of beating up nameless bad guys. The fandom wanted growth. It wanted change. It wanted to continue to prove that superhero films can be just of high quality as the rest of cinema. Zhao 100% delivered on that, and yet received unbelievable flack for it. So let's dive into the team and see what they're dealing with. As I mentioned, we get the most time with Cersei, who's not only having to deal with the struggle of being a very old being, trying to weigh the pros and cons of getting too attached to a regular human who will die in the blink of her eye, but who also has to rapidly learn how to be a leader under, for all intents and purposes, war conditions. She's the Winston Churchill of the group. She just doesn't get a chance to say a cool speech, because apparently you're only allowed to give big team speeches if you're Captain America. Phastos knows how fast his son will grow up and die, but still wants to raise him with his husband and have a quiet life after dealing with the tremendous guilt of knowing that it was his assisting with humans' technological progress that led to the atom bombs being used. As Oppenheimer said,
"Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
He decides to put his life on the line and ensure that his husband and his son have a future, no matter how brief. Sprite has to deal with being treated differently by her own family because, despite being just as old as the others, she physically appears to be a preteen. Not only does she have to deal with that core issue, as an extension of that, she has to deal with the unrecognized and unrequited love from Icarus. Icarus himself is a man torn between believing in the cosmic purpose for which he was created and his love for Cersei and his family, leading him to ultimately kill himself. But even while dealing with that, because of the way Sprite looks, he never for a moment considers her in a romantic fashion and doesn't pay enough attention to see that she clearly pines for him. She and Kingo have a brief conversation about it before their ambush, where he spells it out for anyone who hadn't been paying attention up until that point.
Tinkerbell's always been in love with Peter, and it's hard for her because she can never be with him. I'm sorry, Sprite.
Kingo, why did Arisha make me this way?
I'm actually excited to see where she'll end up in the future of the MCU. Maybe she ends up retaining some of her abilities and goes on to help groups like the Young Avengers, or maybe she just leads a quiet, normal life and we get a small cameo from her down the line. The point is, they presented and dealt with the issue and gave us hope for that character in the future. Kingo might be my favorite of the team insofar as his motivations go. He started out loyal and a team player all the way, but once the family splits and he left Sprite to fend for herself, he became a Bollywood star for generations, playing the old pretending to be different generations of the same family card. But what makes him so interesting to me is that once he realizes the gravity of the situation, he respectfully decides to stay out of the fight.
I still think Icarus is right. I love the people of this planet, but if you stop this emergence, you are preventing so many other worlds like this one from being created. I still have faith in Arisham, but I refuse to hurt any of you for my beliefs.
The dude was pretty forthright. He can see both sides and feels more strongly towards one side, but doesn't want to escalate to the point of violence against his own family. Again, something that baffles me that people didn't like. We got less character motivation in Civil War than we did in this film, and yet people complained. It's somehow hard to understand that during a family argument, someone decides to stay out of it entirely. We have all had that happen to us at some point, and you're a liar if you say you haven't. So why this decision was given shit, I will never understand. Thena wants to do the right thing and live a normal life, but suffers from the cosmic equivalent of Alzheimer's disease and PTSD, and Gilgamesh makes a really great decision to dedicate the rest of his life to watching over her and ensuring her safety and happiness, even knowing that she might snap and kill him someday.
We will take that chance.
Even after the truth is revealed to them and the plan is being formed, his first priority is always her. It's an incredible relationship the pair have. And what I super appreciate is that they only give us a small romantic hit, but really leave it up to the viewer's imagination. Does he do it out of romantic love or just a strong familial bond? And it doesn't actually matter. That's the point. The point is, he simply cares for her above all else, even the planet being destroyed, and fights till his last breath to help her. Druig gets a bum rap for being in a sour mood a lot, but what do you expect when he can read, understand, and manipulate human emotion, yet is constantly being stopped from saving humans from themselves? We don't get a lot of time with him, but the two big scenes we do get spell out everything we need to know about his mindset. First is when the family splits up, for which he may or may not have been the direct cause of.
Druig, I know you're upset.
Upset? We've trusted you for 7,000 years and look where you've gotten us. I've watched humans destroy each other when I could stop it all in a heartbeat. Do you know what that does to someone after centuries? Could our mission have been a mistake? Are we really helping these people build a better world, huh? Not just like the soldiers down there. Pawns to their leaders, blinded by loyalty.
Then, when he's told the true purpose of their mission, and he responds pretty accordingly.
I've just been told I've been sent on a suicide mission for the past 7,000 years, and that my entire existence is a lie.
But he ends up making the decision to help fight and save the planet. Not just because the Celestials lied to him, but because he cares for, if not humanity as a whole, which I do think he does, but at the very least, for the community that he's helped build over the years. The only two characters we get very little time with are Ajax and Makari. We get some brief flashback scenes with Ajax, and Makari just seems to be pretty chill and understanding about the whole ordeal. But what I will say is that I absolutely love the chemistry between Makari and Druig. No one ever really has to say anything to acknowledge it, but they just feel so happy and natural around each other, and I think we need more of that type of romantic flair in the MCU. What's equally amazing to me is the way that there really isn't a clear right or wrong in where anyone lands in the end. Cersei and her team care for the people and planet they've spent so much time nurturing and want to stop the emergence. Icarus and Sprite understand that the celestial cycle is imperative for the continuation of the universe. Kingo stays out of the fight because while he loves his friends and doesn't want to hurt them, he does want the emergence to happen and won't interfere with it. You can understand where everyone is coming from. And had they not taken the time to give us those character motivations, we would not have understood why they landed where they did. All this to say that the film did a wonderful job in its delivery and messaging. Something I want to wrap this on is Chloe Zhao did an interview with IGN, and one of the things she says is this.
I started to cite a William Blake poem, to see the world in a grain of sand and the heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. And I think he's like, okay, I'm still with it, keep going, And so because what Blake was trying to say is that you can see the endless cosmic beauty in the smallest things on the planet. And Jack Kirby's great creation of the Eternals deserve that level of scale and intimacy.
Not only does that confirm that Marvel really believed in her vision and passion for this project, it also shows that Disney actually tried on this one. See, for those of you who don't know, on top of being a good director, Zhao has also been very outspoken about the horrible way the Chinese government is running the country. That, along with the Fastos kiss scene, made China ban the film. Disney was well aware of both facts and could have chosen another less internationally controversial director, or chosen her but made her remove the kiss. But they didn't. They trusted her talent and understood that representation actually matters, so they waved goodbye to the Chinese market. And we can make fun of Disney all day long, but I do think we should give credit where credit is due. So before you listen to the mountain of hypocritical reviews, do yourself a favor and actually give this a chance. You'll be pleasantly surprised. It's a solid MCU film with great action and really solid characters. But I'm curious, what do you think?
Musical styles are still a very important form of communication for our young people. Hi, I'm Joe Feinstein.